'Cause I never want you to buy a place and then wake up the next morning and go, holy crap, what did I just do? It doesn't matter how much support is available around you if you do not use it. Where's the opportunity exist in the market? And if I'm already making content, why not make it to try to attract the client that I actually ideally want to work with?
Anyway, Tom, thanks so much for joining us today. We really are grateful for the time. You always are so generous with your time. I know how busy you are, but we want to just sit down and talk a little bit about your business, what you see in the world out there of real estate, and just catch up.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's awesome. It'll be great. So you've built a massive following, using technology, but it really comes from the root, from my observation, of taking care of people and the basic fundamentals of the business. What was kind of the because I want to get right into the tech side of it. Like, what was kind of the first motivation for you to lean into tech, lean into video, communicate the way you're doing?
So early on in my career, really kind of that first 2 years where I was surviving on leases like many people do when you start your business, there was this level of almost, it truly was frustration. It was, I was like, okay, I think I've kind of, not, looking back, I had nothing figured out at that point, but I was like, I think I'm pretty good at this. Yeah. The clients I work with, although it's mostly been lease people at this point, seem to like me. They're referring me their friends. Things were like, okay, but the sales weren't really rolling in the way that I thought maybe they should have based on my comfort level or experience at that point. And that's when I realized, like, okay, I think I figured this out kind of. How do I get more people to know who I am? That's really the simplest thing. And then understanding that marketing is equally as important, if not more than anything else, to then your knowledge. Yes. You have to have both. Both are equally important, but I do believe that the marketing maybe just comes first. And so that's what it was, is that I think the first actual market update video I did was December 2015.
Okay, so we are coming up to 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
10 years. That's awesome.
And I actually remember, too, I'd have to look back. I swear in that video I said, like, Toronto Real Estate Board just passed 100,000 transactions this year. I'd have to look back. Like, I feel like we had a really good sales volume here.
Yeah. I think so.
2015. I have to look back, but it was like, pretty
It's a big number. Yeah.
Prices were obviously a lot different than they are today. And so that was the first one. Filmed it on an iPad mini with no sound, obviously, on the front-facing camera. Yeah. And that's how it started. And then, has kind of snowballed since then. And I'm happy to go into the specifics of it.
For sure. Yeah, we'll get into
that's
details.
how it started. It was a level of frustration thinking, I want more people to know who I am because I feel like I'm pretty good at what I'm doing. Yeah. How can I get strangers to reach out to me?
Gotcha. And when you look back at where your content strategy started, which we just talked about, and where it's kind of gone today, what do you think has most changed in your approach, kind of your mindset, maybe to the type of communication you're doing, the information? Has much changed really in that time period, or just maybe you've obviously the more you do something, you improve along the way? But is there something that's changed along the way?
I think the biggest thing that's changed is my understanding of how important it is. So when I started, it was I want to just have one video per month I can send to my database of 100 people at that point that just reminds them I exist. Here's what's going on in the market. That was the whole point. Film one video a month. That's a touch point that is slightly different than what I thought other people were doing at that period of time. And now it's like, I know, even if I'm not feeling in a great mood to film something that day, this is prospecting. Like that is what I know, that I can post a video now and tens of thousands of people will watch it. And I know if I talk about a certain topic, or I can kind of generate the type of opportunity that I'm looking for in my business. So recognizing that it is equally as important to me as picking up my phone and calling my database. And when it started, it was just, hey, the people that already know me, I just want them to remember me, because it was kind of drilled in my head at how important it was now to stay in touch with those initial clients that you would work with. And now it's gotten bigger, where it's like, not only do I know my database is seeing the videos, but people that I don't know exist yet are watching. and then reaching out when they're ready. That's
Gotcha.
been the biggest change.
So it's interesting because you talk about, I mean, we talk about this all the time, how important it is to build relationships, stay in touch.
Yep.
And that was your original. So if you think about it, back when you started 10 years ago doing this, you know, 1 video a month, that'd be 12 videos a year.
Yeah.
Like, are you doing 12 a week now, or what?
Well, we're doing 2 a week plus a podcast, so it's 3 a week now.
So 3 a week now.
Yeah.
So that's 12 a month, not 12 a year, which is great. So what was the turning point, or was there a turning point or specific moment when you realized that the content wasn't just a marketing tool or just for your core, or you know, that you were building, you're actually building, because you've shared this with me before, and that's why I thought of this. I wanted to ask you this question. You're building relationships, it seems, before you actually have a conversation with the people that are reaching, like with new, you know, people that are reaching out with you.
What started to happen is that, and the pandemic actually accelerated the YouTube channel, like all social media did for people at that time, because the interest level was so elevated on real estate and what was happening. You just see it based on the Google search results and things like that. And when people were booking calls with me, and I'm happy to talk about like the sequence from making the content to getting them to actually reach out, because if you don't ask them to do it, they're not going to do it.
Good point.
Right? They'll just move on. Is I was starting to take calls and people were like, hey, it's you. And they were like actually kind of excited to talk to you, which is just like, if you think of any other conversation about an online lead in real estate, to call them, it's normally like, why are you calling me? I'm not interested. Versus these people booked a call with me, and when I reach out to them, they're like, okay, yeah, like I've been watching your stuff and this is what we're thinking of doing. And you know, once in a while I'm being interviewed against other people, but 95% of the time they're like, we trust you. We've been watching your stuff. We understand that you know what you're talking about. Let's get things going here. And they were excited to talk to you, which has been really cool. That was like the, oh my God, there's something here I didn't fully recognize.
Okay.
Because cable's kind of gone away, and it's like people's TVs now are like Apple TV boxes or whatever's built into your TV, and you have your streaming services, and then you got YouTube. And the amount of people that, by the way, watch YouTube on their TV is way higher than people realize. They're not just watching, they're sitting on their couch. And you're on their TV similar to what it used to be, and they're like, oh, that's the guy from the TV, even though it's a YouTube video.
Good point.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And so there's a bunch of things you said there that are important. And when you talk about that relationship building that is going on, and that's what I really wanted to pick on there, and part of this conversation is like people are calling you and saying, hey Tom, like they know you because you've now consistently delivered content for a decade. And how long have you been really focused on the YouTube channel?
Probably 2021. I started taking it very seriously.
Okay. So 2021, you've consistently produced content, long form content on the YouTube channel, which includes your podcast. And so people are having an opportunity to really get to know you, get to understand that you know what you're talking about, see your personality because you're, you're authentic. You're just chatting away like we are here today. You get to kind of understand a little bit about the individual. So talk to me a little more in depth about those conversations, like when people are calling, because I love that they're picking up the phone. They're saying, "Oh, hey Tom, wow, Tom, it's you. You're actually."
the coolest thing that happens is like someone books a call. It's a buyer consultation or a seller consultation, and it's every call kind of starts the same. Where I call them and like, thanks so much for booking a call with me. And they always be like, okay, before I was like, I got a bunch of questions for you today, but why don't you kind of give me like, why did you book this call with me? And everyone's like, okay, so you said this in this video, and it made me think about this. Like they reference things that I've actually said in the videos. Or one lady actually recently was really funny. She's like, where do you live? Because you never talk about it, but you talk about your neighborhood. I'm like, I don't talk about it on purpose, but I'll tell you where I like the neighborhood that I picked. And she's like, oh. And then even like the wildest thing that ever happened is this was a comment on the podcast. We had our second child. And like, the moment where you walk out of the hospital to the car with the baby.
Yes.
It's like a 15-second moment.
Yeah.
Someone commented on our podcast being like, "Oh, I knew you had a baby. I saw you walk out of the hospital." I'm like, "Oh my god."
Oh my gosh.
You gotta watch what you're saying these days. So there's just been all these kind of surreal moments.
Yeah.
That truthfully, yes, it feels kind of neat that people care and recognize, and once in a while someone will stop you on the street to say hi or be like, "Hey, I watch your stuff." That's really neat. But I think what I want to maybe make really clear is like, that's all neat, but that doesn't help me sell more homes.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I am a real estate agent. I'm a business owner, and I really like this. I like the business. And YouTube is a tool, like my phone is, like my database is, like direct mail is, like everything is, that is a way for me to get in front of consumers, to get them to reach out to me so that I can help them buy or sell a property when the time makes sense for them. So it's like the dopamine hits are nice, but if it wasn't producing business at this point, I wouldn't still be doing it. This is a business decision first. I'm not trying to be like
famous.
No. Like I want this to fuel my business.
Yes.
And the other stuff that comes with it is sometimes kind of fun and neat and cool. And when someone stops you and says, "Hey, I like your stuff," that's great.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, appointments being booked in my calendars with qualified buyers and sellers are why we make these videos.
Gotcha. Yeah. And that's a perfect transition to where I wanted to go next, because I wanted to ask you about the service level and the practical side of your business, because you're taking, the best of, you're using technology at its highest level, but at the grassroots of it, as you just said, we are selling real estate here to folks. First-time buyers, end users, investors, condos, houses, everything. Tell me a little bit about how you marry that, high tech, high touch communication side with the fundamentals of your business, and tell me a little bit about your service and how you guys do that, because I think that's, to your point, like, oh wow, Tom's so lucky, he's famous on YouTube, he's got one of the best podcasts, most watched podcasts in the country now, nationally, for real estate, which is fantastic. But really, to your point, you just made yourself, without me asking the question yet, what does that mean to your business, and how do you continue to approach your business? Yeah,
so at this point, at least looking at our 2025 numbers, 40% of our transactions this year will be directly from the YouTube channel or the podcast.
That's fantastic.
Which will be, well over $500,000 in GCI.
Yes.
This is real. It works. Like I'm not, like I said before, I wouldn't continue to do this if it wasn't producing the results. What I think is also interesting too is like, when you talked about the type of buyers, and we talk about this with sellers a lot, it's like, okay, well, there's really only 4 types of buyers. There's investors, there's downsizers, there's upsizers, and there's first-time home buyers, right? Of course, there's subcategories and all of those things. But one of the things I recognized this year is we had built up our market share initially through downtown condos because I was younger when I got started, and that's where I did the leases, and that kind of naturally just happened. But markets change. So to answer the question of like, how can you take both and put them together, we had a meeting with our team earlier this year, and I said to them, okay guys, I'm going to take on a lot of listings this year, but they're not going to sell at the same pace they used to, because we understand what the market's doing. And we also have a certain set of clients that are upsizers, need to sell a condo to buy a house, but need the funds out of the condo. To do that condo is going to take longer to sell. So there's all these like kind of roadblocks in the business. So it's like, okay, if we look at the opportunity that's presenting itself right now, the most amount of options available is probably that entry-level condo. First-time home buyers, although price point is lower, should be our number one focus this year. Of course, we will service all business, but we made it very clear. It's like, for my team members, we can take on 15 listings every month. It doesn't mean they all sell. But a first-time home buyer that doesn't have anything to sell. So where I'm going to take this back here is being very clear on where do opportunities exist in the current market conditions, understanding those opportunities, and then, you can manifest it and think about it, and you typically find what you're looking for. But if I know I'm looking for that, I'm going to make a video that's going to be talking to first-time home buyers about the difference between renting and buying now versus a few years ago. So it's like, knowing what exists out there and where the transactions are happening, under what price point and what different areas, and then translating that back to, okay, if I know that and that's the ideal client I want to work with right now, or the avatar that I want, let's make an educational video focused on that topic to try to attract the part of the market that is transacting right now. If you could choose who your next client was, what would they be?
Yes.
What would they be buying? What would they be selling? What would be the price point? And don't just say a $10 million buyer. Like, no. Be realistic in like...
Where's the activity in the market too?
Where are things moving?
Yeah. I mean, you're a business, right?
If I could have a semi-detached house listing or a one-bedroom or bachelor condo, I would take the semi-detached. Like, if I could choose, of course.
Of course, yes.
So if I know that, I should probably be making content towards what I want to attract. And because what I've just gone through with, having young kids and moving to a different neighborhood because of having kids, and how school districts are way more important to me than it used to be. Like, we just put out a video, which is the 15 best family-friendly neighborhoods in Toronto, because I want to attract the upsizers with one kid that's pregnant with the second, that wants to sell their condo and move into one of these neighborhoods, because I just went through that. I can relate to that. So kind of merging them together, going, where's the opportunity exist in the market? And if I'm already making content, why not make it to try to attract the client that I actually 100%. Ideally want to work with. And
it's incredible that you can actually, we have a tool essentially with social media to be able to do that.
It's great.
Like a decade ago, it wasn't as powerful as it is today. When you first started doing video, 2 decades ago, it didn't exist.
Yeah.
So here we are, you're actually able to create content that is authentic to you, that helps people in that time of life make great decisions, and of course tracks business to your team.
It's been really, really cool to see the evolution of it, and recognizing that people watch and they care. And I love long form, because I think you can kind of trick someone in 30. Not trick's the wrong word.
Yeah.
Someone can have an opinion of you in 30 seconds to a minute on a TikTok or an Instagram reel or something, where you're telling them what's going on, but to sit there for 10 minutes and give a true market update, you have to know what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
And so I think even if someone's never done a video and they're a realtor, it doesn't even really matter how long you've been in the business. It forces you every month to actually look at the numbers and fundamentally understand what's happening. So even if no one watches the video, you just got better.
Yep.
The conversations you can have with your active clients are going to be elevated because you know the numbers, where other people aren't looking at the numbers. Like, I know they're not.
Absolutely. So looking at today's client journey from kind of like discovery to deal, how has tech changed that, and what components are still the grassroots of taking care of people?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's very simple. You do what you say you're going to do for people.
Gotcha.
It's that simple. At the beginning of every buyer consultation or seller consultation, I will make a statement to whether they're my best friend or someone I've never met before. That I just want you to understand kind of how our business works.
Gotcha.
Is, yes, I know a lot of people find us online these days, but still the bulk, if I could only choose one thing, word of mouth is how my business works. So my only goal here is to do such a good job for you that at the end of this, you want to talk about your experience working with our team, and we're going to ask you for a review if you had a good experience with us, because that's why we're still in business.
Absolutely.
So I make that very clear to people from the beginning. So I think that's really, really important. And also, I think sometimes buyers are maybe like a little bit taken aback, because I will start, a condo buyer booking a call with us right now, I will say to them very clearly, if you're not going to hold this for at least 5 years, you should not be buying, period. It's just those numbers I can't make work for you, and I can't promise what's going to happen. And it is interesting, though, I found more recently, most people are like, no, we get it. We're not buying because it has to go up in value in the next 3-4 years. It's like, we've just decided this is the right time for us. So going back to the fundamentals of doing what you say you're going to do, I think being reliable is such a obviously generic word.
Yeah.
But people don't move on from reliable people. So what I mean from that is if you have a tradesperson or a painter that's always reliable, are you ever going to look elsewhere?
No.
You're only going to look elsewhere if they're no longer reliable. The world works on reliable people that show up on time. And so I think that being reliable to your clients, understanding that if you have a contract signed with a client, you need to be in constant contact with them, like all the time. And so just going back to like, all of those things matter more than anything else, because you can have one good year, if you're running a transaction business and you're pumping things out, when things turn around, those people aren't coming back to you.
No.
So understanding that what's in front of you is great, treat them great. The how it really got stuck in my head is Dean Jackson actually taught me this, and I love the simplicity of his marketing. He calls it the before, the during, and the after.
Okay.
So that's the client journey. The before is they haven't reached out to you yet. How do you get them to reach out?
Yes.
Are you going to market to their building? Are you going to make a YouTube video? Are you going to meet them at a client event? That's just the before.
Yeah.
How did you market to get them as a potential client? The during is that process, that consultation you do with every buyer that takes an hour before they ever see a property that's going to save them tons of time and save you tons of time. The during the process, did they have a good process? And then the after is just, the connectivity plan.
Yeah.
It's that simple, right? But it's like, how are you? So like, if you're a business owner, there's three things. The before is marketing, essentially.
Yes.
Your systems and processes and how good you are with your clients during the process, staying in touch, being reliable, doing what you say you're going to do. And then once that transaction is complete and firm, you go into the after pile, which is how am I now going to run the system to stay in touch with these people? Because that after pile will go full circle back to the before again when they refer you their friend or.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of how I look at it.
So your level, and I know this, your level of service is incredible to your clients. And so you're taking, this is what I love about your business. You're using the tools of technology, but you're still rooted in the fundamentals of providing great service.
Yep.
And that formula is obviously driving massive results. So you mentioned earlier about the process, and you're happy to share the process of how you take the client through the journey.
Yep.
Can you kind of walk us through that a little bit?
So there's two kind of different ways to talk about it. There's the client from online that reached out for the first time, and then there's the past client or referral from your database, right?
Yes.
So if it's the client from online, what typically happens is they book a call with us. We use Calendly, which is $12 a month. But I think Google has a free version. Like there's other versions. It doesn't really matter. It connects with my schedule. I choose the times that can be available. So it's on my timeline. It connects with my calendar, so nothing's double booked. Like it works really, really well. That initial call, that first consultation, we take very, very seriously because that's when, whether they've come from here, we can then show them that value. So how it works currently on our team is if they are a buyer, I will still take most of the initial calls because they reach out and they talk to me. And I will kind of go through all the things that we think are important, go over market conditions, obviously the criteria of what they're looking for. A very simple question that kind of gets their mind to go is, when can you see yourself holding the keys for this property? Not when do you want to move in, not what's your timeline. When do you want to have the keys to put into the door that you own this place? And that gets an interesting response from people that is different than just like, well, what's your timeline?
Yes. Great
and they're
question.
like, oh, okay, well, I want to, that's a good question. Well, how long does closing normally take? How many properties do you think I'd have to see? Like they start kind of asking more questions. And then we get into more specifics with like criteria of even right now, something that's really big is occupancy status of the unit. Are you okay to buy a property that's tenanted and give notice? And here's what it changes with the timelines. And then the thing that we've used from day one, and this was from, I'm forgetting, Tribe of Mentors was the book.
Okay.
I'm blanking on the name, very famous author, Tim Ferriss.
Yes.
And one of the chapters was this public speaker, and he said, any decision that I make, I just do an out of 10, but I can't choose 7. So any decision in my life, if I want to go travel to speak at that, if I feel that it's a 7, I can't choose 7, so it's a 6 and I say no. If it's at least an 8 to me, then I'll say yes to it.
Okay.
Because 7, the idea is 7 is average.
Yeah. And
So I read that, I was like, that's great. How can I steal that and take that to real estate? So we've been using this for a decade with our buyer clients as we say to them, this is going to sound kind of funny, But we've talked within price range and
Of
being
course.
realistic.
Yes.
Every property you see, I want you to rank it on a scale of 1 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't say 7. And they always laugh. And they're like, why not? I'm like, I want to say 7. I'm like, no. Because when we go in and show you the property, you're going to realize people don't move that often. They watch the reality shows. And I'm like, our team's not going to take you in there and try to sell you on that place.
No.
We actually, we care what you buy, but we're not trying to sell you on that specific unit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not how this works. We want you to go in, and we're going to let you come back to us and say, how do you feel about this? 6 or below, probably not the right one, time to move on.
Mm-hmm.
If it's an 8, okay, can you add in your furniture? Can you add in these little minor changes to make it a 9? And then normally people are like, do 10s exist? Like, yes, but they're usually competitive. In any market, perfect properties are competitive, and you might be competing with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing, and then you're like, the reason why I'm bringing this up, and if there's one thing you listen to me today, it's this, is because I never want you to buy a place and then wake up the next morning and go, holy crap, what did I just do? Mm-hmm. It takes away any of that buyer's remorse, because you're like, okay, I have a plan. I know how I'm valuing this place versus the other places that I've seen. So that's like the initial process. And then what I think might be helpful for realtors listening to this is, a lot of people ask me, like, I have agents on my team that mostly work with the buyers now. I'm not actively out there viewing properties anymore, which was the reason why we can do the level of content that we do and all the other things that we do. But I'm still involved if I'm needed in negotiations. But the final conversation I have with every buyer on that call is, hey, so I just want to let you know kind of how our team works. I have 5 realtors that work with me, and their full-time jobs are to be available to our clients so they never miss on a property. So when I get you set up next on the search and everything, I'm going to introduce you to one of my team partners. It's never team member. It's never employee. My team partner, business partner, whatever you want to call it, and you really hype them up. I wanted to talk to you today first to figure out your personality style, see who I think would be the best fit.
100%. Yes.
And I'm like, are you okay with that? And honestly, probably out of 100 times, one person's had an issue with it. Like everyone else, is like, okay, but you're still involved. I'm like, absolutely. Strategy, pricing, I'm involved. You need my help on any of that, I will jump onto any call. So that is how the process works now. And another thing we found that works really well is, instead of just getting a new buyer set up and sending them a whole bunch of listings right away, which can kind of be overwhelming, especially when there's so much to choose from, we're like, okay, before I get you set up on the property search, based on everything you told me today, I'm going to actually send you a list of properties that have sold in the last 30 days that match all the things you told me, that match our criteria. So Chris, I want you to go through that email, and again, don't overwhelm them. 10, 15 properties, not 100. I want you to go through those recently sold ones. You can see the sold price, and just tell me, based on that list, where you would have ranked them out of 10, and which ones would you have bought knowing the price they sold for if you were ready when those sold.
Brilliant.
That is been the best thing we've started to do, because then they come back to us with their lists, with their rankings, and they're like, we would have bought this one, this one, this one. We didn't like these ones because of these reasons. I'm like, great. Now we're super specific. Now I'm going to set up the daily search for you, and we actually know what we're looking for. That saved us a lot of time.
No. I mean, Tom, it's the approach is exactly how we have felt that everybody should be approached, is educate. And that's what you're doing, right? And it's interesting because sometimes it's difficult to have these conversations because we're in, you're salespeople. That's what we do. That's our industry. We sell. But what we have chosen to do, and you have chosen to do, is say, sure, we're not going to, like you said, we're not going to stick you in a property. What we're going to do is help you make a great decision. And the process you've created does just that. And that's why you get incredible repeat and referral business from everybody you work with, is because you take them through a process where they feel like, oh gosh, like brilliant, to send them the 15 or 10 or 15 most recent sales to say, you tell me what you think, right? Because it allows them to actually think about something that they haven't, like you said, we don't buy and sell real estate every day. So you're not doing this every day as a buyer or a seller. And so here's a process we've set up to take you through so that you're able to start to think about and make better decisions for yourself. And it's brilliant how you've approached it, and I know you've refined it a lot along the way, and you're constantly refining it.
Yeah. I mean, and I think you got to be calm in that conversation. And then, little tip, the last thing I ask to every buyer on a buyer call is, are you guys excited? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we're nervous, but I think we're ready to do this. And you end it on like a positive note. But, and I do think, like, yeah, maybe, and if they're talking to other people, let's just say they talk to another agent and have the same conversation with their agents, just like, okay, well, here's what's on the market. I want to show you. I want to show you this one. It's like, I just feel like our approach, it's not going to work 100% of the time, but it's like, we're happy to show you any property you want to see. But before we do that, why don't we really hone in on like how we can make sure you're buying the right place?
100%.
Another thing that Emma Pace taught me, actually, this is just like a mental thing, right? Is like, you make sure you ask a buyer, you're not in a rush, are you? just disarm them, right? Because everyone's gonna be like, well, we're not in a rush. I'm like, I know, right? I just want to make sure you're not in a rush.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like, actually, like, we want to buy in 30 days. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, well, but great, right? And it is this. Well, being in the sales business, I mean, of course, we're salespeople. I mean, that there is a pre-established, vision of what a real estate salesperson does, how they operate. They've, likely heard some good stories, some bad stories. But to approach it the way you approach it, you help cover off all those concerns.
That's the hope, at least.
Right.
Things obviously still come up.
Of course
but you try
they
your
do.
Best. Yeah.
Of course they do. Of course they do. For agents who've built successful careers on old school methods and relationships, where's the best place to start modernizing? Like if you've been, you've been in the business a while, you've established a great database. Maybe you're doing traditional farming, but you haven't really pivoted into using social media, video. What do you think would be a great first sort of step on that path?
If I'd been farming a specific neighborhood, I'm envious of those agents, by the way, that have a pocket that they dominate.
Yes.
If I had that business and I was already known and I had the sold signs and I sent the flyers, the first thing that I would do is I would do a market update specifically just for that area, because there's not so many sales. Like, you can probably cover all the actual sales.
Yeah, you're right.
Right?
Yeah.
I would film a video, and then in the flyer that I sent out, I would just have like, a thumbnail and a QR code telling people, go watch our whatever community market update video, because they already know who you are. They already know you dominate the area.
Yeah.
Now go watch me actually show you I know what I'm talking about as well. I think that would be the easiest. It could be a 2-minute video.
Yeah, doesn't have to be long form.
Because
really,
you
does
don't
it?
even really care how many people watch it.
No.
In terms of like the greater scope, you care about, do the people in that community watch it?
Yeah.
Or like, I guess it would be tough for timing now because you can't really do the coming soon stuff. But I mean, if you could do the timing 3 days before, like, hey, here's a video where we're talking about our 3 new listings that are coming out in the next 3 days. Watch it to learn before they hit the mark. I don't know.
Yes.
Just anything
within the rules, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, brilliant. And if you are a, database, you've been in the business 10, 15, 20 years, you've got a database, 30 years, you've got a database of people. How do we use the tech today to focus in? Because now we're not talking about a geographic area. We're talking about a database of people. They could live all over the GTA for that matter.
Yep.
Maybe some people have moved away and you still want to keep in touch because they've got friends and family in the area, or just, you've built a relationship with them. What do you think what would be some advice?
So this won't be like, there's many, I don't want to just answer it with video for everything, because I think,
true.
But I think like the simplest way to re-engage your database right now would be going back to that very simple 1-question survey that we've been doing for a long time. Like, if you actually want results now and you want to fill your pipeline for 2026, you reach out to your database and say, hey, Chris, happy fall.
Yeah. As
we approach, near the end of the year, every year, we try to get a sense of how we can, best be there for our clients, or, whatever wording you want to use for that. And, if you have 30 seconds, make sure they understand this is quick. We got a quick survey we've sent out to see how we can best serve you. If you could click here, by the way, if you fill out the survey, you enter into a draw to win a $500 gift card to whatever.
Excellent.
survey question, one question. What best describes your situation for your house? No plans, thinking about buying or selling, would be curious to know the value of my house, or, don't want to sell my house, but interested in investment real estate.
Sure.
But keep it to 4, and don't overwhelm them. Don't make it long. If you already had an established business and you had a database of 500 people and 100 people filled that out,
oh, it's unbelievable.
even if half will still say no plans, which is fine. At least you know.
Yeah.
But then 30 people say, I'd be curious to know the value of my house. Like, wouldn't it be nice if, like, before you do your CMAs, you actually know who the people are that actually care right now? Like, that actually want them?
Yeah.
Right? That would be a
100%.
good place to start. And I guarantee you will get probably a handful of people that put up their hand in that and say, yeah, like, I'm thinking about something.
Yeah.
Like, great. You want to set up a call, chat about it?
Let's go.
So if you want to engage right away, and again, I don't know if that's modern necessarily, but it's a way that you can immediately get results from a database that maybe you haven't paid as much attention to as maybe you should.
Yes. Yeah.
Or just try something that's different than your monthly newsletter or call or whatever you're doing. Yeah.
Gotcha. And you mentioned CMAs there, and I want to just ask, because I know you do this for your clients. You do a CMA sort of pricing or a equity update, whatever. I'm not sure exactly your terminology for it, but can you talk a little bit about how that works and how you approach your database and the reason behind it, the results you get?
Yeah. So the idea was paper CMAs go out of date within 30 days. And we had done that years before. We had put these things together, put them in the mail. It was really fancy. And then by the time it got to their house, it's like, well, another house sold. So the idea is how can you make a less than 2-minute valuable piece of information to send to your past clients that is not salesy or pushy, but it's coming from a place of I'm helping and I know what I'm talking about. And the idea was pick the last 3 sales on their street or in their building, depending on what it is. And the video is really simple. Like, hey, Chris, it's Tom. Hope you're doing well. I'm actually sending this through today because a lot of our clients recently have been wondering what's going on in the market. And if you're anything like me, you'd probably want to get an idea of what's going on. So what I've got on my screen here is actually the last 3 sales. But I want to bring your attention to this one, and I can show you the photos here, and it's actually the same lot size as yours. And if you look in that top right corner, that's the price that it just sold for. That actually just happened a week ago. So I know you're probably not looking to move right now, but I just want to make sure you're aware of what's going on in your area. And I've also linked all these properties below in the email, so you can look through the photos yourself. Anyways, if you have any questions, let me know. Super casual. Now you'll notice there's something that I didn't actually do in that. Is tell them the value of their house. Leave something, you're showing them, and they're and then the response is hey, well, if that sold for that, what's mine worth? And that's when you get to go, okay, now I'm going to get you a more detailed report. I just found those quick 45-second to a minute videos are great, and we call them the health check, right?
Yeah.
And the idea is I literally went to the dentist yesterday, and they booked in my 6 months when I was leaving.
Yeah.
We should all realtors should go stay in a dentist office for a day and watch how they
the logistics around it, right? It's brilliant.
The whole thing's great.
Yeah.
So let's schedule these things in twice a year. I'm going to reach out to you and the people that you're working with. We talked about it before, the during, and the after. Yeah. When they go from during to after, let them know, hey, one of the things that you get as being one of our clients is twice a year, I'm going to reach out and give you an equity update on your property. Yeah. So I think, the video CMAs were a game changer to us. The open rate is great.
That's great.
You want to put in the subject line of the email, your updated property value, or Chris, your updated property value, or just their house. They will open it.
Of course.
Who's not going to?
It's personalized.
Yeah, exactly.
And every single one you do is personalized. Yeah. Right? You're not using AI to create.
You could.
You can, but you're not using AI. It's you every single time.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself evolving to using these AI tools that are available to create Tom and Tom talking?
Kind of struggling with that right now. Right now, I wouldn't do. I personally wouldn't do it.
No.
I think even if you can't tell the difference, I guess the question would be if they found out it wasn't you, how would they respond to that?
I agree.
So I think there's maybe an argument to say like, hey, for new clients you've never met before and you don't have a relationship built with them, maybe AI and these calling that sounds like your voice is like, okay.
Makes it efficient.
Or when it reaches us like, hey, this is, you acknowledge that this is AI before the conversation. It's getting so good that you won't be able to tell the difference pretty soon. Like it's already 95%
Agreed.
of the way there.
Yep.
I do think though, as realtors, we got one thing left.
Mm-hmm.
Us.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one thing left that not that we have one thing left.
No.
Sounds
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. We only do one
We
thing.
got one thing left.
Yeah.
But like the thing that we have is us. Is the reaching out, is the talking to people. And if you automate that, you're going to get results that reflect it.
Well, what's interesting on that point is, and I've been thinking a lot about this recently, is AI and the tools, it does amplify your abilities in terms of it can, and that can mean speed, that can be efficiency, reach, because there's only so many hours in the day, so it amplifies that. What it doesn't do is it doesn't yet, maybe, and maybe I don't know if it ever will, understand or be a part of the nuances of a particular property, a particular dynamic within a certain pocket of real estate, or within a building, because you're transacting in right in the buildings, in the neighborhoods with grassroots. AI has nowhere to research that to create a report. It needs the individual knowledge that is not documented anywhere. It's through experience. And I think that's a differentiator. And the authentic, even just listening to how you deal with clients, like you're completely authentic with them. You're not, trying to, hey, do you want to buy a It is truly, we are here to help. And I think that on that topic, at least in this day and age, with AI, using avatars or AI generated communication, it is missing that human touch. And I think that's a mistake if you think that you're going to replace yourself with AI at this moment in time. To your exact point, Tom, is I think you've missed that connectivity, and it creates a question like, am I talking to a robot?
Right. Yeah, I think there's going to be some, if your business model is only online generated leads and you're just playing a pure numbers game, like there'll be very useful AI tools for those models. If that's your model.
For first contact and efficiencies. Sure.
So I think we shouldn't dismiss it and say like,
no, for appointment setting, maybe in that case, are you thinking? Or
exactly. For getting the initial appointment, but when they reach out saying, hey, this is Tom's AI, and I'm reaching out to see what works best for your schedule to book an appointment with Tom, acknowledge it. Like I kind of like the idea of that.
Yes.
I also just think for some stuff like if you make the AI version of you, if you just like took the Treb market report, put it in the chat GPT and said, write a 5-minute market update script, and then you send it to 11 Labs and it has your voice, and then you use whatever it is right now for HeyGen or whatever to use your avatar, and you put it all together, it shoots out a video. That's great. But you, as the real estate agent that will have to eventually do the thing, you don't even know what you said. Like you didn't look at the numbers. So you're just becoming lazy, I guess. Like
it's a dangerous, slippery slope. I mean, I've teenagers in high school, and I tell them the same thing. Like if you don't, you can use the tool to maybe build to help you formulate in your example there, formulate the 5-minute summary. Yeah. But if you're unable to assess what that has formulated for you, whether it's accurate, whether it's appropriate, whether it's actually adding value, whether it understands completely, as we talked a minute ago, about the nuances of what's going on in the market, that's dangerous, I think.
I mean, I use it in my email every day. We have this thing that categorizes all of our emails, tells me what I have to follow up with. We'll write drafts that I can go in and switch.
And edit.
I love it. I use it for that all the time. We just did a video on our YouTube channel where it was a pretty good title. It was called "The Problem with Falling Housing Prices," and the problem was it makes buyers think that the cost of owning has actually dropped to what, assuming they need a mortgage.
Yes.
And so I used AI for that, where it's like, okay, I said $1 million purchase price at 2.5% mortgage, $800,000 purchase price at 4% mortgage. Give me, after the first 5 years, the interest versus principal paid off.
Yes.
Show me the difference in down payment, and then give me a summary. So like, I knew the point I wanted to make. I was like, hey, do the work.
Yes.
Then I could look at it and go, okay, how do I want to? And it was really interesting. And the comments of that video were super like, okay, yeah, this makes sense. Like, if you want housing prices to drop, you better hope interest rates stay the same.
100%.
Unless you're buying cash. Otherwise, yes, slightly less down payment, slightly less land transfer tax. But the 4% interest rate in those first 5 years, you're actually paying way more interest. Like, you got to really look at the numbers. I could have done that on my own, but it would take me hours to get all that.
Sure.
So great for that. And then I can take that, put it together, and present it in my way. So we still use it all the time. Yeah. I'm just still the one doing the final thing.
And you know how to prompt it too. You're asking the right questions.
Yeah.
You're setting the stage for great answers from the tool being AI. And I think that, and knowing how to do that, because again, that's that deep knowledge that is important from an individual professional standpoint.
Yeah, it's been super helpful for content creation, actually, but I'm still the one doing it and saying it and having the final word, right? Like I can tell there's some people making videos right now, and I can tell they're like reading a script as they're doing it. I know every word is just
AI generated.
And it's okay. Yeah. And it works.
Sure.
It gets people engaged because it's done. It starts the video in a way that gets people to stick around.
Yeah.
Like, I know the way they're doing it.
Yeah.
I just feel like maybe long term, actually knowing what you're saying probably would be better.
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So talking about new tech, what's one innovative tool that you adopted early that you think has given you kind of that edge or that sort of, lead?
So let me think. I mean, 8 years ago, maybe BombBomb was like an initial, like, you couldn't send videos in emails before that, or like it wasn't nice.
Yeah.
Where it was integrated into it. I think I went all in on that at the time because it set myself apart from it.
Yeah.
But I think it's more than anything, it's just like I find that for realtors right now, you look at like, okay, the pillars of business that you could build, and like, I think everyone should have at least 3 main pillars and a few kind of like secondary ones.
Yes.
You know, power pillars. So like, your database is number 1. Number 2 is maybe it's open houses for you. Like, right? Maybe it's the YouTube channel. Maybe it's realtor referrals. Maybe it's direct mail. Like, whatever, right? But the social media pillar, I feel like, is like this clumped together thing.
Okay.
So I think what I recognized early, and like, not to just give a simple answer, say like, well, YouTube, I got on it before people and I took advantage of it, because that is what happened. But I realized that the people that I knew that had 500,000 TikTok followers, I would just ask them, be like, do you get any business?
Yeah.
They're like, not really.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that then.
No.
And not to say that, like, and I still to this day, and like, I'm happy we're being recorded right now.
Yeah.
If a realtor can show me they sold 20 properties in the last 12 months and it all came from TikTok,
congratulations.
I will say I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And I will go do it.
Yeah.
I just like, I have seen so much proof on YouTube. I see a lot of talk on this side.
Yes.
I don't see a lot of people willing to show me the numbers. So that was my thing, where it's like, all these other things feel good. Views feel good. The fact that people care, that like, followers build up and the algorithm, whatever. But at the end of the day, did it translate to more opportunity in your business? And if not, what are we talking about?
Yeah, exactly. And so is there any tech that you wish you had jumped on faster?
I think just even like the whole AI thing, I wish I had taken it more seriously like 12 months ago.
Yeah.
I feel like now I'm really ingrained, and like, on a basic level at least, I probably should have got into that a lot faster.
Yeah.
Knowing now even though there's
What we
probably a
know.
massive AI bubble and this will all figure itself out. But someone's going to win.
Yeah.
And then we'll, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. What do you think clients value most right now in today's market from their realtor?
Certainty and confidence. Like, I think that seller presentation and buyer presentation, which we talked about today, I mean, every realtor, before they should be allowed out on the streets, should have to practice those conversations. I think for 95% of realtors, you need a standardized way in which you go through it. There's some people that have the gift of gab that are just likable people and never need anything and can just walk in there, but that's not most of us.
Yes.
So I think, yes, sellers want to have expectations set up for them correctly, because I find that's the biggest disconnect is, well, you told me this would happen and now this is happening. And so setting up the expectations, which is difficult these days, because the conversations to create those expectations are not necessarily like great or fun conversations to have. But I found, at least the people that we're meeting with, they want certainty, they want confidence in this market you can actually get it done for them, and then they want you to set real expectations for them. Because if you don't set the expectations, well, you can have a new listing that gets 10 showings, and it's like, whoa, this is so good. But if your seller's never done this before, they're like, is that good? I don't know. Or you could have a condo that only got 2 showings, but like, hey, but all my other stuff got nothing last week. You've been my busiest one. That's like things that you should set the expectation with the client. That's what I found, at least. And I do believe that right now in this market knowledge is more important than
Agreed.
ever before. They want certainty that you know what you're talking about. They're not willing to take risks on people that are like, well, let's give this a shot.
Yeah.
And that confidence is built over doing something, many, many times in a row. But I think confidence and education level and setting the expectation.
Yeah. I'm a big stats person. The interesting thing I find, and I don't know how you feel about this, but, buying and selling real estate is very emotional, I find, right, for people, which makes sense. It's generally we're dealing with your home, the place you live. We're also obviously working with investors, and so that's a little less emotional, but can be stressful depending on the situation. But the value of facts, which is I think what you're alluding to here with knowing, is so important. How do you ensure that you and your team are on top of market conditions? Do you have a process every month? Like because it's so emotional. I think the way I look at it, we certainly buy with emotion, or fall in love with something, or there's with a home or whatever it might be, but we confirm our decision with facts. And would you say that's?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This will sound funny in us having this conversation, but real estate is very local. Like,
it is.
Like more than ever before, I don't really care what the average sale price is from the Trev report. Is anyone buying the entire Trev market? No, we're not buying a stock in the market. Like, we're buying one single property type in one single area. That's what we're focused on. So when I see those numbers, one thing I've switched to recently is I rarely reference average price anymore, because of the sales volume and what's selling and what's not selling, and how month over month it's so, like, 2 months ago detached homes are down 10%, and then the month after they're down 1%. It's like, well, what is it? It's like, well, we just know it's just like different types of homes sold. So I've really gone to benchmark pricing as the conversations that we're having, and with buyers and sellers, and using the HPI tool that I love these days.
Yes.
It's old school, but I love it. And I can just mark, here's when you bought, here's the market today. And the idea with benchmark prices is a similar property. It's trying its best, not, it's similar.
Take out the outliers.
Exactly. And so we print out an actual chart. If I'm meeting with a seller, say, here's when you bought, here's today. The benchmark prices don't actually matter. Like, it's just to show you what's happened. So, I had a listing presentation last night. They bought December 2020.
Okay.
Actually, not a great year for condos. Condo prices did not do good in 2020.
Yeah.
Went crazy in 21, and then we know kind of what happened after that.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, you bought here. Here's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, got to here. And he's like, that would have been good. I'm like, yeah, but if you bought then,
Yeah.
like selling and renting then would have been good, but you know, easy to say that
That wasn't
now.
the plan. Yeah.
And then here's what happened. Interest rates were at 2% here, and then they went really high to here, and this is what happened with prices across the. So I'm just visually showing him, like, this is step one to try to understand why we are where we are today. And that conversation was basically, your property's worth what you paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, it went way higher,
Mm-hmm.
and then it came down, and then went up a little bit in 2023 for a few months when we took off again, and then it came down again. And then that's step one of pricing properties for us now, because they're looking at it and they're like, all right, makes sense. Thanks for showing us this, because if I just sat down and went, Chris, you bought your place 5 years ago and it's worth what you paid, you'd be like, what do you mean?
Yeah. What happened? I've been paying all these months mortgage payments. I've been
visually show them. By the way, that person had an interest rate of 1.66% based on when they bought it.
Wow.
Just to put things in perspective.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like you could have bought lower after, but if you had an interest rate of 4%, don't have to get into specifics for that conversation.
Yeah.
But that's what we're doing these days. And when I'm looking over the TREB data, I'm trying to find pieces of it that aren't just the obviously reported on things.
Of course.
So I got really nerdy with it recently, where I took like every condo that's been listed in the city of Toronto so far, and 75% of every condo that's been listed had a parking spot. But 80% of all the properties that condos have sold had a parking spot. So there's a 5%, the condos with parking had a much better chance of selling than the ones without. And 16% of every condo listed this year had a tenant in it, only represents 8% of the successfully sold properties. So it's like, I have these little details that I know, talking to someone that's got a tenant a month to month, it's like, hey, paying them 2 months rent to have them sign an N11, even if it goes vacant for 2 months after that, still, not just your sale price will be less if they're still there, but the chances of selling are roughly cut in half. It's things like that I know other people aren't digging that deep into it, that I can then use that in my conversation. So, yeah.
There's so much. We're lucky being, the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board is...
The data is fantastic.
The data is fantastic. And I know you're using Habistat.
Yeah.
And that's, I believe, the charts you're talking about. You're using Habistat to produce. And we're lucky to have a real estate board as leading edge from a tech standpoint. Now, but to your point, you've got to use the data. You've got to use the stuff that's there. And you've got to think about great ways, like you do constantly, to help educate. Again, this is, from how we started the conversation, Tom, was focused on your approaches around education.
That's
really, ultimately.
That's what it is.
Right? I mean, that's really, as we've talked about this whole process here today, it's really about educating people. And you're using the data, the tools, the information that's at your fingertips, just using it really, really well and effectively to help people make great decisions.
And I'm trying to do it in a way that, like, typically when you hear someone talking about the market, if it's an economist or like an only data person that tracks the industry but doesn't trade in the industry, nothing wrong with that, but the way they're going to present it is going to be different than the way I believe I should present it to potential consumers. Right? So
100%.
I've tried to take that approach where it's like, it's easy to understand what I've just told you, because I've really simplified it for me as well, just to make the point. Instead of like using these big and showing these charts with squiggly lines, and I was like, what the hell does that mean?
It's true.
It's like, well, here's what it actually means for you if you were in this position or this position. And yeah, exactly.
That's great. You've built tremendous momentum in your business. You're consistent. You're continually growing your business. What advice could you give realtors going to the business side of the business? Because it's tough, right? It's a tough business. And right now, this year will be the most difficult business year in real estate in 30 years. So 3 decades, based on transaction volume, based on amount of competition within the industry. So it's the worst year, 2025. What would you say to agents that are maybe struggling with that consistency, with keeping, year after year growing their business? Do you think there's 2 or 3 things that you really think about that help you stay right up at the top?
Well, one, you have to be motivated. Like, I don't care. I mean, you know this better than anybody. It doesn't matter how much support is available around you if you do not use it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing. I do think some level of coaching or accountability is necessary for most high producers or people that strive to be high producers. Even if it's just putting in your calendar every 2 weeks, you have a meeting with yourself, a CEO meeting with yourself, where you have to, my number one thing I like about coaching is that every 2 weeks I have to write down 3 things. What did I accomplish? What sales did I get done? What appointments did I set? What did I not do that I said I was going to do last week? And what am I struggling with right now that I need to get figured out? And then at the top of that list, I have my yearly GCI goal. I have my transaction volume. I have little percentages of where I am on the year. And sitting down for that 10 minutes, all it takes, once every other week, is like, it motivates me. So I just think going on Signature Live, going to our kickoff, going to a real estate conference, you leave those events with a shot of adrenaline. I just find you can give yourself a little shot every 2 weeks by forcing yourself to have these conversations and understanding that if you're not actively showing buyers properties or meeting with sellers or have active listings, you need to be doing the activities, which we all spend another 2 hours talking about that. But all your day should be focused on is trying to do 5 things: book buyer consultations, new ones, book listing appointments, show properties, make offers, or get price reductions if you have stuff sitting. That's it. So nothing else turns into revenue other than that 5, right?
Nothing.
So if you don't have one of those 5 in your calendar today, what are you doing? How many CMAs are you sending? How many phone calls are you making? Are you making an update video? I don't know. Are you doing something to move the needle to try to get one of those things? If you're a newer agent, go back to all the people you've rented to in the last 2 years and say, hey, I'm just reaching out because we've had a few people in your position that found out they could actually afford to buy this year. Are you curious to know if that's you? It's simple. You send 10 of those out, 2 people will say yes. Great, let's book a call, let's set aside the time. And look, now you went from this to having one of those 5 things in your calendar. And that is step 1 to get to a point to, revenue.
100%.
Yeah.
Brilliant. If you look 5 years ahead, Tom, what do you think will separate the best realtors from the rest?
I mean, I don't know if it's going to be any different than today, honestly.
Yeah.
I do still think the team structure is going to dominate just based on market share and especially in certain farming neighborhoods and things like that. I do think that's going to stay the same. Even though right now is the first time in my business that I maybe would rather have a buyer call come in than a seller call. There is one direct correlation that I've been obsessed with since day one. The top agents forever are listing agents. It has never changed. It will never change. No. Sure, we're going through an interesting moment right now.
Sure.
It will not change.
No.
Being very, very good at a listing presentation, knowing your stuff, being confident. My idea was if I blindfold you and put a listing package together and drop you in front of the house and go in.
Yeah.
If I give you all the data, can you just go in and do it? I think that's going to separate. You look at the numbers. You guys have access to this. You can see the top 50 agents in the city of Toronto are mostly listing agents.
They are.
It's never changed.
It's never changed. No.
So that's what I think will continue. Yeah, I'm trying to think I think the ones that do take this new opportunity of, even though he spent some time today talking about, YouTube and what's working, still no one else is doing it. I have 5 direct competitors on YouTube in Toronto.
And so everybody
We're 3
is
million
aware.
Population. How many realtors have a license?
Yeah.
I have 5 people that, and what I mean by that is consistently posting,
producing
quality, good stuff, and not once a month, but once a week, that have an audience. I'm dealing with 5 other people.
Yeah.
That's it.
Out of 70,000 licensed, roughly 70,000 members of the Toronto Real Estate.
GTA is what,
GTA.
8 million people now or something?
Yeah.
The word Toronto helps you in the algorithm. Using that in your videos helps automatically just based on our population.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the ones that utilize the new things that are available, that we have clear examples of it working. I'm not the only one that gets results on YouTube. There's lots of other people in lots of other markets that are getting very similar results. Steve's doing it in just outside Vancouver in a market that is a suburb that doesn't have the cachet of Toronto in the title, but he's still getting a big amount of calls from it, and it's turning into deals. So I've actually found from my business, people that come in more educated are better clients to work with. I like the idea that the information is out there and that people can look at it, but then when you actually sit down and have the conversations with clients, they have access to it, but they're still missing certain key points. And I think it gives you the value gap before was clear because I have the information and you don't.
Gotcha.
The value gap now actually makes the best realtors even better because they can tell you something that nobody else can see that isn't available in the data.
So you like more data available out there?
Yes. It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
I appreciate it because, when someone comes in completely green, you really hold their hand. There's no issue with that. We still have lots of clients like that as well.
Of course.
But you have other people that are like, they're on it.
Yeah.
Like there are people that really understand what's going on, but are still missing a few key points. Even if they get 95% of the way there, I know I can save them a lot of money with that final 5% of just things that I will pick up from doing this every single day, where their home search that they've been obsessed with, they've been doing it for 2 months.
Yes.
But I've been doing it for a decade.
Absolutely. And you're deciphering the information, which I think is the art and science to the value prop that you bring to the table. Is, to your point, you're doing it all day long. We're doing it all day long.
I'll give you a really good example, right? 2 months ago, the main headline from the Treb report was that detached homes were down 10%. Does that mean if someone reads that, they have the information, oh shit, my house is down 10%. Well, probably not.
Yeah.
And that's where you can step in and say, well, average price means this, and here's what actually sold beside you. Your house is down 3%. Are you selling it? No. Okay, then enjoy it.
Exactly. Yeah. And like you mentioned in our conversation, certainty is critical. And I think with the knowledge that you have, with the delivery of the factual information, that's what you're providing. Yeah. Is certainty.
That's it. Yeah. That's the goal at least.
Yeah.
Certainty that's easily digestible.
Brilliant.
To the consumers. Yeah.
And what is one timeless principle that you think will never change regardless of the tech that comes in our future that we don't even know yet that's coming? Is there something that you think that is really going to stick with us?
I just think consistency. That's it.
Yeah. Consistency is undefeated.
The tool will change. The whatever. There'll be something new we're talking about next, and doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like the tools change, the goal remains the same. You want to talk to people, to book appointments, to help them when they are ready to buy or sell properties. And if you're consistently following the things that you know you need to do, then it doesn't matter what the thing is. It's, are you doing it, and is it in your business plan, and are you living by your calendar, which sounds lame but is super helpful. like I live by my calendar.
Yeah.
It's great, and it's given me freedom in my life.
Yeah.
So awesome. Consistency.
Fantastic. Tom, thank you.
Thank you.
Grateful for the time today.
Yep.
Incredible. I mean, there's so many nuggets of things you shared with us. Absolutely brilliant. I know everybody will get a ton of value from it. So thanks.
Chris.
Appreciate it, pal.